in all the world, right? The universe, I could say, is going to be changed by what's happening today. So what's happening today? We started with a language which was just designed for doing very tiny actions in the browser without making calls to the server, right? This language becomes a powerful action guru for interface. Then this language with Ajax specifically becomes like the person that you need to have in your application to communicate with the server. Then JavaScript becomes the technology that is the master of your UI, right? I cannot believe that any of you is doing today a website or a UI interface that does not use JavaScript heavily. Somebody wants to raise their hand? Okay, wait. Good. So Node.js is coming, and this is a shock. Like, I'm sure you were like reading the news, watching the TV. Node.js is coming. Oh my God, I'm going to be able to use all my JavaScript skills on the server side? The black box, the dirty black box that only some super specialists were able to touch before. And like everybody is scratching their heads and saying, oh, this is potential, this is amazing. Something is happening, right? They're like, wow. Okay, but I have projects, I have to still keep doing the front side, it's a new technology, so it wasn't that easy. However, I had those thoughts a year and something ago, and in a previous company for which I've worked recently, which does a lot of heavy services, a lot of heavy stuff, complicated architecture, smart stuff, but really heavy. We were thinking a year ago, okay, is Node.js something that can help us, that can replace something that we have today and make it better? And the answer with the persons I've talked at that time was, looks cool, but no, it's young, doesn't have a lot of frameworks. It's the beginning. Yeah, it's cool, but it's not for us. So you would expect that like any technology would take a couple of years to get to the next level. But a year after, the number of repos and packages that are available on Node.js are just exploding. And not only they're exploding in terms of number, but in terms of quality, of support, of everything. It's kind of a dream. So, in the same company at the beginning of this year, we asked ourselves the same question. Okay, is it time for us to look at JavaScript as a server-side technology? And this time, the answer was, yes, maybe. So yeah, the framework is not really stable, Express is really cool, but it's the version 4 already, they're changing stuff. It's very dynamic. For enterprise kind of stuff, it's a bit tricky. But the answer was, yes, let's take a look at it. And so we did take a look at this technology, and we experimented on a little service, nothing big. We don't want to make a huge impact on the company and collapse all the products. So far so good, it works well. And at the time in the company, we were struggling to make automation, right, for the quality. And automation was done with like Java, Cucumber, Selenium, lots of automation guys that had no clue about HTML, CSS, JavaScript whatsoever. So it was like a huge pain, a big, huge pain. We wasted a lot of energy, So I thought at that moment, since Node.js is here and it is so cool, there must be something that would do automation for me in JavaScript. And when I'm saying automation, it's not only unit tests or integration tests, because that was already available, but something that would do end-to-end tests, right? Who does in this room end-to-end tests with JavaScript today? Hey, we have to talk. Good. What are you using? Sorry? Okay, okay. Yeah, but this is, okay. But it's only for one browser, right?
For what?
It's only for one browser at a time. You do multi-browser with it?
I just use it with Chrome. I'm not really sure if.
Okay, so this is very interesting. I mean, you guys can see it because you didn't turn behind, but there are only 2 persons in that room that say they're doing end-to-end tests with JavaScript, because you might not know about it, because you probably hadn't time to look at that. But guess what? There's a guy, he's a Romanian, I'm really pleased about that. His name is Andrei Rusu. I don't know him personally, but I want to meet him. And he created the stuff which is called Nightwatch. Who heard about Nightwatch? 1 person. Wow. It's a good thing that you came today to this talk. You're gonna like it. Okay. And Nightwatch is a fantastically powerful tool that does end-to-end tests written in JavaScript. So imagine for a second what that means for you guys. You have JavaScript skills and you're like, okay, I can do UI, I can do Angular, I can do client-server communication, I can do the server-side part of it, or at least understand what is there if it was on Node.js, and I can do unit integration and end-to-end tests multi-browser. Who can beat that? Nobody. Today, at least as far as I'm informed, there is no such a combination. There is a technology for the front, one for the back end. Maybe the back end has the same kind of unit tests, but for the front it is another. So it's always a mix of technologies, right? So let's imagine the following situation. You have a company. It's your company. A new client comes to you, and this client says, "Okay, I want to do this super cool app. It's a startup. It has to rock the house. I don't have a lot of budget." Right? You know this phrase. And then he says, "Yeah, we should do this, that," and then you say, "Okay, in my mind, an average team is composed as described here. I have a product manager, I have a designer, 2 UI developers, 2 backend developers, and 2 QAs. Okay, so first choice, I'm going the normal way. I picked PHP because I love PHP. But you can do Java.net, whatever you want there. Okay, so far, so good. It's an option, right? You don't have constraints. The guy has no technology stack already, so you are free to choose to make a choice that should be the best choice given the contract that you have to do, right? Okay. Option 2. I thought I would hear it. Wow. Option 2, you're getting into the new mindset and you say, JavaScript is the boss. And then you say, my PM knows a bit of JavaScript. My UX knows a bit of JavaScript. My UI developers, they know JavaScript and know that. Just leave them there. And my 2 guys in the backend know JavaScript. And my QAs are knowing JavaScript. Okay, so instinctively, I mean, I could have put any other programming language. I'm sure you all think there might be an interest for all the team to speak the same language, right? That instinctively kind of makes sense. Okay, so let's go further a bit. In the first option, and I really, that's something that I realized recently. When you have a group of people working, they bring together a sum of skills, right? Business language, I called it language because you have to communicate with your colleague with that language. You say, the product needs to have a login system. That's business language, right? You don't say how you will do it, with what technology, no, it's pure business. And you can describe a lot of stuff about the business. Okay, the UX has to understand what you're saying, the QAs, the dev, back end, front end, right? So this is really traditional. I don't know if it makes sense for you or if you're doing a lot of QA, but usually that's a normal ratio. You have 2 QA, back front UX, right? It's about 8 people. It's the standard stuff. Okay, so the only language that they're really speaking together is the business language, right? Make sense? The PM generally has no idea about CSS and stuff. He doesn't know how the transition is going to happen, how cool it's going to like, because it's going to be mobile friendly or whatever. He just knows that he needs something, and he tells it to you or to the team through the business language, the requirements, right? So hopefully, in the team, everybody speaks business, because unfortunately, there are many teams where people are not really speaking business, and if you don't tell them what exactly to do, it's kind of hard, right? Okay, let's look at some concepts. In this option, you have 7 languages, right? The business, HTML, Java for the QA, PHP for the server, UX for the designer, the data layer, right, it's important, and JavaScript. Good. In the second scenario, JavaScript is taking a lot of place, and suddenly there are 2 common languages that you have. So this is pretty interesting, right? And we are going to see why, right? I reduced the number of languages that you use to solve your problems. There is what I call the foreigner syndrome, and my wife is here today, so I think she's going to laugh. Just as a side note, I was born in Romania. I spent 30 years in France. I met my wife there. She's an American. We came back to Romania. I'm still struggling with English. You probably have observed that already. And very often, especially when I'm tired, I'm working at home in the evening, and my wife says, no, blah, 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 blah. That's English, right? But because I'm tired, that's what it sounds to me. And then I'm like, what do I do now? If I say, can you repeat, she's gonna be pissed off, right? If I don't say repeat, I'm going to be super frustrated and incapable of understanding what she said. And in the best case, she forgets about that and we're like continuing our evening and nothing happens. Or I feel bad. Or I didn't put it here because that really hurts. I say, can you repeat please? And she's like, you never listen to me, you don't understand me, I should speak to you in French. I'm like, yeah, sorry, my love. So the point is, when you are at home and it's a couple stuff, but in the team it's exactly the same thing. It is very important for you to have a common language. This is essential, common language. Because if you don't, right, this is what happens. I'm making some, I did that on my phone this morning, so don't hire me for design, I suck, okay? But that's the way I feel in the evenings sometimes, and my wife is much better than that. So the point is, I'm losing the information, I'm losing the focus, I feel bad, I'm not really able to find the energy to come back and to understand what the message was, right? On the other hand, somebody comes to me and says, I've done a super cool stuff in JavaScript, it rocks the house. And the guy is here, his name is Robert, and he helped me for the presentation. Thank you, Robert. And I'm like, oh, cool. I don't get it all. I mean, yeah, because I'm not such a good coder. But it resonates with me. And that makes me think, oh, this piece of information, with the information I have already myself, creates some value, right? That's, well, this is not exactly what I wanted, doesn't matter. That's not exactly what I wanted. Let me see if I can come back. Yeah, so it resonates with me. And the point is that there are two phenomena. There's a dissipation phenomenon and an augmentation phenomenon. Dissipation means I'm going to you and say, hey, how are you doing? I have a super cool function in JavaScript. And he's like, okay, so I wasted my time, I wasted his time. If we are both together in a team, he's going to have to catch up, work a lot to compensate this, go above his frustrations. If I'm his manager, it's even worse because then there is like, oh my goodness, what, like this is this kind of opinion stuff. And a lot of energy has been consumed for absolutely zero result, right? So this is called dissipation, right? You have energy, you put it into the system produces nothing, and you put it there and it's lost. But augmentation is the opposite. I'm going to him and say, as I said before, I have a super cool function in JavaScript and this new module does that, and he's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Oh, I'm getting excited. So he's motivated. He feels that we're speaking the same language. It is important. I can tell you, because with my wife we're doing that every single day. I don't know if you have multinational couples, but if you do or will, you'll see that it is really something important, right? So all these thoughts together make me realize that JavaScript is offering a one lifetime opportunity for us today, 2015, really. And this one lifetime opportunity is the capacity to work on projects with people that are speaking the same language or the same languages with you. This is a huge factor to increase your productivity and your efficiency. If you understand each other when you communicate, it makes a lot of difference, right? So, at the beginning, I already said that. JavaScript was the front end. Then, Node.js is arriving. Then, Node.js and Nightwatch is offering the QA stuff. So we have all the universe that is needed to build amazing SaaS applications is available for us, the JavaScript speakers, right? So I think that was kind of enough in terms of talking. So I'm going to show you a bit of code, and I hope that you're going to enjoy it. I did a very simple application. It's something that every here already did at least once, probably many times. It's a login mechanism, right? Email, password. There are some failing scenarios. I need my login to be not empty. My email cannot be empty. The credentials can be invalid. I'm going to be logged in, and then I want to log out. Very standard. We did it. Everybody did it many times. Okay. So let's look at it. Oh, sorry. So here's the app, okay? So I'm going to briefly demo the stuff. So if I try to log in, I have a message, email cannot be empty. I'm putting something here, password cannot be empty. Now I'm going to give a wrong password. Invalid credentials. I'm going to give a good password. Woohoo! Hooray! I'm logged in. Fantastic. Okay. I feel the same every time. Because I'm always amazed that my code, which is core, still works. It's incredible. Thank you, Robert. Okay, so this is the trivial part about this demo. But now let's go to the cool part of it. So, who here does or has done integration, units, and end-to-end tests on their applications? Hey, not bad. Good for you guys. Good. Okay, so the demo will be, I'm going to show you how, as a JavaScript developer, I'm going to add a functionality. and I'm going to have it tested, and hopefully it's going to be less than 2 or 3 minutes. Depends if I'm able to type. So let's see, this is a challenge for me. Typing is always hard. Yeah, so before I'm going to show you what happens already. So I have some unit tests, okay? Okay, that was always a bit emotional when it happens. Integration tests, sounds good. And night watch, you're going to like that. Okay, there you go. So I'm kind of feeling that I'm in a heavy armor and nobody can tell me that my application doesn't work. No. I've tested it in all directions. It does work. Okay, so let's go for a bit of code here. So what I want to do is allow the logout, right? So there you go. I'm going to create here a link. Okay, the link is going to send a parameter that will say logout. Okay. UI is ready, so that's good. Let's go into the controller. So for the persons here who have done Node.js, please don't tell that my code sucks. I know. Robert is going to work on my code and make it nice. But for the others, it is impressive, right? And this block of code is the one which is going to render my my stuff. So I'm going to make a condition, which is that if I'm receiving the parameter for action, and if this parameter is equal to logout, I'm going to kill the session. Okay, just copy paste here. There you go. And I'm going to do redirect towards the home page. Okay. Else, I'm rendering the page normally. Okay, so there we go for the UI. So let's see if I crashed everything or if this is working. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. I did screw up with something because it's actually the contrary. Sorry. I really worked on this before doing it, but apparently not enough. I think that should be better. Okay, good. The good thing is that my UI is ready. Let's log in. Okay, let's log out. Woohoo! Now, the part that is really interesting is the following. Because I'm a JavaScript guy, and that I understand JavaScript very well, I'm going to go here and go into my tests. As you can see, I have integration, Nightwatch, which is end-to-end, Selenium, which is an engine that is used by Nightwatch, and the unit tests. Everything is in the application. So I have everything under my hand. I don't have the code in one place, the test is in another place, the tests are run by somebody else in some given conditions. So no. Everything is here. I have it. I can run it before I make any commit. Right? If I make a commit, I mean, I passed through all these tests. Okay. So I'm saying this, but it's a goal for me. We don't really do that yet, right? I know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay. However, so I'm going to go in my Selenium tests, and I'm going to add the test for this stuff. So, okay, the point is that I'm going to do check logout. I'm going to click on the tag A, okay, and I'm going to make sure that the title of the page became login, because that's what I should have when the page is when you are on the page when you are logged out. Really. Good. So far so good. Let's see if the magic works. Woohoo! It works. Okay, so I'm running my unit test once again. I'm running my integration test again. I'm good to go. So, I do not think, or I do not know, any people that does this kind of stuff on a regular basis. I don't think so. I know there's some guys here who do tests. I don't know if you do all the tests this way. And Nightbot is offering multi-browser tests, cloud tests. You can test mobile, everything that you wanted. So I'm sure most of you, when they do applications, they test them on a tablet, they test them on a mobile